This video is brought to you by the Farmer Klein YouTube channel. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment.
Hello everybody, welcome back to another Farming Simulator 22 Map First Impressions video. Today we're going to take a look at Felsbrunn 22. But before that, this video is brought to you by Diablo del Toro and Dwayne Unruh. Thank you for being farm barons. So Felsbrunn 22 can be found over at the farmingsimulator.com website or the in-game downloadable content menu, and as of the 1.0 release, this map is available for all platforms. Let's read a little bit of the description. This map was converted and modernized from FarmSim 19 to FarmSim 22. So, if you played FarmSim 19, you will know that Felsbrunn was one of the two base game maps. This was the European map, and it has now been brought forward into FS22 by the Lort. And quite frankly, I think it is a very good bringing forward conversion because this map is taking advantage of all of the new features and functions that are part of FarmSim 22. So let's read more of the description. This map includes a shop, cattle dealer, sawmill, BGA, train system, a courtyard with buildings and vehicles, 19 unique productions, amongst 16 production buildings pre-placed on the map, 6 selling stations, 58 buyable farmlands, 38 fields, 100 collectibles. This map does include the Elm Creek collectibles. The Hof Productions Pack is installed by OmaTana, and there are lots of new paintable decorations. Let's go ahead and load on in. We are going to use the mods that we typically use when we take a look at maps. That is additional fields info, additional game settings, field lease, field calculator, and precision farming. So we watched the map load on in. I will say if you load this map up in farm manager mode or start from scratch, you will find the main farm completely barren of buildings and machinery. But we are loading in new farmer mode. And here we are. Anyone that played this map in FS19 is immediately going to recognize the PDA and the starting location. But all of the buildings have been switched out for FS22 style buildings. Let's go ahead and take a look at the PDA. This map does have all of the standard crop types available to us here in FarmSim 22. And if we take a look at our lands, you'll see we start up owning field 20 and 19, as well as the main start farm. In addition to that, there is a buyable biogas plant for $117,000. There is a horse pasture that is located over here. You can buy for $242,000. Then there's lots of buyable areas on the map, as the description said. So let's go ahead and jump up here to our farmland lease screen. And the farmland lease screen is going to show us all of the buyable farmlands. If those farmlands include fields, what field number that is, how expensive the farmland is going to be, and how big the farmland is going to be. So let's go ahead and take a look. You can see we own farmland 30 and 31. They correspond to fields 19 and 20. They are about 3 hectares in size each and $145,000 and $151,000 respectively. So I'm just going to go ahead and kind of scroll through this list. You can pause this video at any point in time if you want to have a little closer look at the particular farmlands, fields, farmland prices, or farmland sizes. And now we'll compare that to the actual fields themselves. So you can see the field 19 is 1.61 hectares, whereas the farmland was nearly 3. Field 20 is 0.73, again, where the farmland was a little bit over 3 hectares total. Go ahead and scroll through that list. Let's go ahead and take a look at our precision farming soil map. This map is making use of the generic soil map that is a part of the precision farming mod. So you can see that for the most part, the fields are a good mix of loamy sand, sandy loam, and loam. A little bit of silty clay up here to the north, and a little bit of silty clay down here, right close to the mountainous area right there. Go ahead and take a look at our crop counter. You can see we have the standard base game crop counter available to us here on the map. And if we look at our prices screen, you will see that we do indeed have an absolute ton of available locations to sell all of our base game props. We also have the ability to sell all of our animal outputs, our silage, hay, straw, and grass. And then as we move down to our production areas, you'll see that we do indeed have the ability to sell every single base game production that we can possibly place down on the map. As I said, there are 16 different production buildings available pre-placed on the map. We also have the ability to buy bulk lime. We do have a stone crusher, and as the description said, this map is making use of the Hof Productions Pack by OmaTana, and as such, we have the new productions that are available with that pack. That is French fries, premium potatoes, noodles, tomato sauce, mixed salad, oat drink, oatmeal, popcorn, soy drink, and strawberry ice cream. Take a look at our vehicles. You can see that all of it is new. None of it is leased. We do not have any animals at the start. We do have contracts available on the map, and we do not own any production chains at the start. And as I said, this map does have 100 collectibles. Let's go ahead and take a look at our starting fleet. Start out with the Fendt Bobbert 511C, pair of those. We have the Massey Ferguson 3670 medium tractor, the Topliner 4090H harvester that is paired up with the 4090H header. We also have the 4090H header trailer. We have the 2017 pickup truck, the Welger DK115 trailer, the Rabe EG39 cultivator, the Norstein HK25NS 3030 seeder, and then we have a pair of 750 kilogram front weights. Take a look at our mods and DLCs. You can see that there are no custom vehicles or implements that are a part of this map. Let's go ahead and take a look at our build mode. Looking through the buildings, we do have this building that is listed, but I believe it is just because it is included. It is actually a part of the precision farming with the antenna removed. No custom silos, extensions, containers. We have then this listed with a workshop. We have some custom farmhouses with different siding options. Under production, since we have the OmaTana Hof Productions Pack, we do have all of that built in and available for us to place. Same with respect to the sell points. Base game greenhouses, orchards, and generators. No custom animals available on the map. Decorations look fairly standard. Then we take a look at our textures. We have quite a few textures that we can place, or paint, I should say. We have dirt, asphalt, concrete or cobble, more concrete, stamped concrete, forest ground, grass, dried grass, gravel, another gravel, some more gravel. The guy's gotta love his gravel. You never know when you might want some gravel. And you might want some with some grass in it. More stamped concrete. There's some rock. Some dirt. All the trees that are available, and then, oh my gosh, we've got all types of stuff. We've got the base game plants, and then we come into some new custom stuff. We have big branches that we can paint. We have foliage that we can paint. Light cap. Maple leaves. Thimbleberry. Okay. Cultivated texture. And a plowed texture. Let's go over here. Look at that. All right, let's go take a look at all these textures and other such things. So a lot of these are base game, kind of scattered around the various maps. They've all been included in this map as one. All the various types of stone. And these are all using the new texturing technique. Then we have some new paintable plants. Sticks. Mushrooms. Then we had our cultivated ground and then our plowed ground that we can also paint. So let's go ahead and take a look at our farm here. Well, we've got our farmhouse. Our farmhouse is using the new texturing technique because we have the new 3D style windows. We have our sleep trigger and our wardrobe trigger. We have our workshop, shed, our 3-bay garage, what I call the 3-bay garage. And all of these buildings can be removed, should you so wish. We've got our base game silo. We have some open sheds, a pair of those. And then something else I wanted to show you is we've got this concrete curbing, right? And this concrete curbing was permanent in FS 19. But we can, if we want to, sell the road trim. And now we shouldn't have any issue whatsoever placing anything and everything that we want here, because we have now gotten rid of the curbing that is a part of this starting farm. With that, I'm going to go ahead and get set up for the fly around. We're going to fly around the map and then come back to the shop, get our Mahindra, and drive around to all of the various points of interest, including production points and sell points. Get a little bit of altitude and just take a real quick spin around. We've got our mountainous area to the north. A couple farmlands up there we could buy in fields. And we have the bulk of our fields down here more to the flat, lower land area. Bit of a range, a mountain range here separating the town and shoreline from the main farming area. Just like we would expect with the base game Felsbrunn in FS19. Now, one addition that has been made to the map is that we have a water tower up here kind of on the hill. And it doesn't have a blue floaty icon, but I do believe that there is a usable water trigger located up here at the water tower. That is because if we hit F5 here, you can see a trigger marker located right there. And as I said, I believe that is going to be a water trigger. We just don't see the little blue floaty deal going on here. Up the hill, just past the main farm, we do have our animal dealer. Our animal dealer trigger and our animal dealer sell point. Coming through town, we have several sell points, several production areas. And overall, like I said, there are 16 production areas built into the map. We have a sawmill, we have a dairy, we have a cereal factory, tailor, grape processing unit, an oil production facility, spinnery, sugar mill, 2 grain mills, one that makes standard flour, and then one that has the ability to make soybean, corn, and canola flour. We also have a bakery, a BGA, 2 farm production points, and those are part of the Hof Production Pack. we have the chocolatier, and then we have the Erlengrot dairy that doesn't make chocolate. And that's going to be right there. So we have the cheese factory, basically. So we are going to give the map a full point with respect to having production built in or areas set aside for such. I think having 16 unique production buildings put down is going to give you credit there for sure. We're also giving the map a full point with respect to having sell points for all of the base game products, crops, and animal outputs. And we're also giving the map a full point with respect to having the farm being customizable, because we can sell everything on the main farm, including the curbing, which we couldn't do in FS19. That means we're going to have the ability to do pretty much everything and anything that we want with the main starting farm. So down here we have our dock, just like where we had the dock in FS19. And this dock does have a sell point located just below. We also have some production areas here at the dock. So we have our cereal factory located right there. We have a lime buy point, and then we have one of our flour mills or grain mills down here. So we have our farm production, one of our farm production buildings located right here. Our sell point. There we have our stone crusher. And then as we make our way up the hill, we're going to find our grape processing unit and our sawmill. I do want to make reference and draw attention to the waterfalls. Something is a little weird with the waterfall texture in this conversion. It does make the waterfalls look a little bit odd, at least odd to my eye. So maybe that'll get updated in a future update, but there you can see it just feels like we're maybe missing something with respect to the waterfalls. So up here in the northeast corner of the map, we have our grape processing facility. We have our sawmill. Then we'll make our way and dive down to the northwest part of the map, which is down by the water. I'd be curious, of the people that played Farm Sim 19, how many of you put any time on this particular map in FS19? I can tell you, I got a lot of questions on my Back to Basics series in FS19. What map are you on? Well, I did all my Back to Basics videos on this very map in Farm Sim 19, so I get a feeling that maybe not a lot of people messed around with Felsbrunn before they jumped over to mod maps. So here we have a train transfer station. We have a dump and fill point for the train. We have a dump and fill point for the trailers. Down the hill we have the biogas plant, which we have to buy before any of the triggers will pop up. Over here at the other port, we do have our sugar mill and our oil factory, as well as a sell point. And then continue to make our way around the water's edge. We're going to Coming out here south of field 15, where we're going to find the only animal area that is pre-placed. That is a horse pasture. And then that is kind of going to conclude our aerial tour. We'll cut across the front of the castle that's up on the hill, and then get over to our vehicle shop. So there we have the horse pasture. The animal dealer that we already talked about. The castle on the hill has been swapped out for the castle that is on Hof Productions. And then down here we have our vehicle shop. Good old Clever Motors. Let's go ahead and get our Mahindra. See where our vehicles spawn in at. We've got a decent sized area for our vehicles. We shouldn't have any issue in buying a good sized fleet. And then we have our workshop, maintenance trigger, paint, repair, customize, and such. Also down here at the shop. Now, before we jump to our drive around, let's go back into our menus and take a look at all the production chains. So I've gone ahead and bought all the production chains so we can take a look at all those in a little bit of detail. Because again, we have 16 production buildings built into the map. I want to go over each and every one of them fairly quickly. We've got a base game sawmill here that's going to make planks and wood chips. We have the base game dairy that's going to output butter, cheese, and chocolate. We have the base game cereal and tailor shop. Our grape processing unit, nothing shocking there. Oil mill, pretty standard, as well as the spinnery and sugar mill. Here we have the base game grain mill for wheat, barley, oats, and sorghum. We have our bakery, we have our biogas plant, and then we have the Hof Productions Pack that is going to be, we have the plaster version of this building. And then we also have the Alpine style version of this building pre-placed. We have the chocolatier. Then we have the cheese factory that will make just butter and cheese. Then we have a custom grain mill. This is going to make all of our normal flours, but then we also have the ability to make soybean flour, corn flour, and canola flour from this particular grain mill. I think what we'll do is kind of start down here at the port and work our way across the map kind of in a clockwise direction. And then we'll end back up right down there at the port where we have our stone production, our stone crusher. And then we have one of the Alpine buildings and then the sell point. I have to tell you, I put a fair number of hours in here on Felsbrunn and FS19 between the Back to Basics series, and then I did my very first playthrough in FS19 on this particular map. And then right before FS22 came out, we came back to this very map and we did a no mod, just base game and DLC playthrough on this map for one final time. So it feels like a little bit of a homecoming coming back here in FS22. And I think they did a really good job. So we have our bulk lime buy point. Then we have our cereal factory. We have our dump point, our spawn point, for our pallets, and our trigger. Now let's see which flour mill this is. Is this the standard flour mill or is this the extended production? Oh, that's not good. It's not letting me activate that. So let's tag this. All right, so this is indeed the extended production grain mill. So we have our interactive trigger that didn't work. Now I'm curious, does this one work over here? Yes, this one does indeed work, the Cereal Factory. I wonder why this one isn't. Alright, so we've got our dump point. I don't really see marked where the pallet spawn point is. I would assume it's going to be over by where the interactive trigger that doesn't work is located. So that was a little depressing there. We're going to have to deduct a little bit of points as a result of that. So here we have our grain dump station. Let's make our way on into town. You know we don't obey traffic laws here. That would be just ridiculous. So we have our dairy, we have our pallet spawn point, we have our dump station. Then we have our interactive icon here around the front by the parking lot. A lot of these buildings are pulled from Erlengrot. We have our this is our this is our chocolatier. So chocolatier, we have to go inside the facility. This side here we have our dump station, our interactive icon, and our pallet spawn point. Across the street from that we have our spinnery. We have our dump station, interactive trigger, and pallet point. To the left we have our fuel station and our dairy, our cheese factory. So we have our interactive trigger there at the door. We have our dump point and our pallet spawn point for the cheese factory. Got a little turned around here. Double back. So up on the hill here. Sorry, we've got down below. A sell point. Oh, that's neat. I saw these yellow markers on the ground. I'm like, what is that? It's people. It's like this is a walking path. That is pretty cool. I don't think I've ever seen this walking path, you know, a painted person on the ground. That is pretty neat. Where am I at? And also up here we have a rent train trigger. Located right there. And speaking of the train, there he goes. We have our bakery, so we have our dump point around back, our pallet point around back, our interactive trigger at the front door. See that there. We have our tailor, interactive point, our dump point for our fabric, our wardrobe trigger, and then our spawn point for our clothing. The sell point. And then that is going to conclude everything that's here in town. Now we had a football field, soccer field, if you will, located here. Now it is, for the most part, just an empty area. We've got the goal posts up, but there was a fence up in FS19 here. So with respect to buildings using the new texture technique and ground textures and such, I do believe we're going to give the map a full point there also. All of these buildings, for the most part, have come from Erlengrot, so they are making use of the new windowing technique. We've got our, this is just a base game horse pasture. 14 horses. Now, if you own this land, you can sell the horse pasture. If you try to sell the horse pasture without owning the land, well, the triggers will go away, but the building will stay. If you own the land, everything will vanish. As far as the horse pasture goes, this house will stay, or this restaurant or whatever that is will stay, but the horse pasture will go away. Making our way up the western side of the map now. We have another train transfer station. And boy, I mean, these collectibles, they're not hidden all that good. I think we could probably have picked up 20 or 30 of them just by doing our drive. So we have our trailer dump and fill point. We have then our train dump and fill point. Another train rent trigger there at the intersection. We made our way up to the second port on the map. Here we have our biogas plant. So we have 3 large pull-through bunkers. And then the BGA. And once we buy the BGA, we have our fill point for our digestate. We have our dump point for our slurry, we have our digester and our interactive icon. All right there. So coming over here to the western port, we have our dump station. We have our sugar mill, base game sugar mill. So we have our dump point. We have our interactive icon and pallet spawn point on the other side. We have also our oil mill. We have our pallet spawn point, dump point, and interactive trigger on the side here. Another fuel point. And let's go ahead and start making our climb up the mountains. But before we go too far, we have another train transfer silo located right here. Here we have the other the other farm productions building. So we have our interactive icon, our pallet spawn point, and our dump point for this one. Then we have our dump station and our fill point. Like I said, this is a transfer silo for the train. All of the normal stuff you'd see at a transfer silo. Trailer and train points. Start our long, windy road. Tell you one thing that both maps in FS19 had a problem with. That would be Ravenport and Felsbrunn. Was that neither really had a lot of places for you to build a farm, right? They were kind of the first maps that were made by Giants that somewhat had the concept of placeable farms and such. Ravenport really didn't have a whole lot of flat land, especially at the starting farm. Felsbrunn had flat land at the starting farm, but really didn't have a whole lot of land other than that area to build out a farm without sacrificing field space. But there was a few choice spots. One was down by the southern port across the street, and another one was up here on top of the hill. And when you found these choice spots, you really felt like you found a hidden gem. And one of such spots is right there. Not totally flat, but flat enough that you can make do. So we have our sawmill over here on the left. We have our wood chip point. We have our log cell point, or log cell trigger, or interactive trigger, and our plank spawn point. Another area where you could kind of build out is over here by fields 3 and 5. Again, not a whole lot of land, but just enough. Kind of build out a small to medium farm up here. We have our grape processing facility, interactive trigger, pallet spawn point, and a dump station. So right here. So I want to know, folks that did play this map in FS19, where did you put your farm? Did you just play down at the starting farm area, or did you get a little adventurous with the build your own farm concept and try to build somewhere else? Let's make our way down the mountain. We've got a few more production areas, a few more sell points to take a look at before we go over the final scoring metric, that is player interactive areas being clearly marked, which sadly we found pretty quick. An interactive trigger for the custom grain mill didn't really seem to work that well. This is quite a climb, trying to get up here with a trailer or a heavy piece of machinery. Down here at the base, we have our standard flour mill. So we have our pallet spawn point. We have our dump station. Let's see if this trigger works. Yeah, that works. I'm starting to wonder if only the custom one didn't work. We have another fuel point. Over here, just a single fuel pump. And then that is going to take us back around to the shop. What we want to do is we want to take this road right here, which is going to dump us over by the port eventually. So overall, player and interactive triggers being clearly marked, we're going to give the map 3/4 of a point there. We're going to have to take something off because the custom flour mill, the one that does soybean, corn, and canola flour, as well as all of the other standard flour grains, the interactive trigger there didn't bring up the production menu. So we are going to knock 1/4 of a point off. We didn't check every single one of the other 15 production buildings built in. We kind of did a spot check and checked a couple. So that's going to give the map a total score of 4.75 out of 5. So here we have our stone crusher. I think this is an excellent convert of the base game 19 map of Felsbrunn. I think this is a very, very good bring forward. Like I said, lots of things have been implemented. The textures, the new buildings, production areas, all of the 22 crops have been implemented in this. And then we have everything else. The entire PDA as well. The town area hasn't lost its overall feel. I think if you played and enjoyed this map in 19, you just might come back for a little bit of enjoyment in 22 as well. So here we have another one of those farm production points, or dump station, or pallet icon, and our interactive trigger. Behind me we have another train rent trigger. Then our final grain sell point is going to be located right here. So guys, let me know what you all think down in the comments below. Did you play this map in FS19? And if you didn't, are you maybe going to play it here in FS22? If you played the map in FS22, are you going to play it here again in FS19, or is the overabundance of maps that is currently out for FS22? Is your playlist just a little bit too long? And, well, something's got to give. Like I said, let me know down in the comments below. And until next time, happy farming.